Does Titanic income inequality threaten mutiny on the high seas? I'm Scott Ott with Bill Whittle and Stephen Green, and welcome to Right Angle. Well, men, the New York Times reports that not since the days of J.P. Morgan and the ill-fated Titanic have Americans seen such a gulf between rich and poor aboard vacation cruise vessels. That's right, some passengers are more equal than others, enjoying luxurious rooms, private dining, white glove service, express elevators, and front row seats. Special access doors prevent the entry of commoners into their exclusive cloisters. All of this merely because of their social class and because they pay 3 to 10 times what the average passenger does for his cruise. Now, Stephen Green, if the wealthy must take cruises, shouldn't they have to rub elbows at the buffet with the rest of us? Or shouldn't we be allowed to tan at their private pool and eat in their swanky restaurant? After all, we're all ultimately on the same boat, aren't we?
Well, a couple of things. First, it's a miracle of modern capitalism and what free markets have provide that a luxury cruise is now a middle class experience at all, which is just when the Titanic sailed on that fateful voyage, you had to be a really rich person to be on the boat at all, unless you were actually in steerage and condemned to death. And we talk about equalizing income. I guess 1,500 rich people died on board that ship, and I get money went somewhere. Maybe some of it trickled downhill. I don't really know what happened there. What I'd like to, with that in mind, though, I would like to introduce potential investors to the good ship Bernie Sanders. Now, the way the SS Sanders is going to work is before you're allowed to buy a ticket, you will be required to fill out lengthy forms detailing how much money you make, where it comes from, how much of it is from labor, how much of it is from investments, what kind of tax shelters you use, and all the rest. And on the basis of that information, we will calculate your ticket price. And ticket prices will range all the way from a nominal fee of about $5 for those who really, really need some luxury in their lives, to up to 60% of your annual income for the year. And the more you pay, this is the real genius part, the more you pay on the good ship Sanders, the less you get. If you are lucky enough to exist in that 50%, 60% ticket bracket, you're not really going to get much from the cruise. You're going to have to pay for all of your own meals. In fact, you're going to have to pay for the other guys' meals while you're there as well. You're not going to be allowed to use the pool. You know what? There are perfectly good sinks in the bathroom. You might, if you're lucky, have a bathtub in your room. You can kind of paddle around in that a little bit. I think you're going to be fine. And for those who are unfortunate enough to not be in the 50 or 60% ticket bracket, well, they're going to get all the amenities paid for by your ticket. And the best part, I think the best part of this whole deal, and I'm very excited about this, is we expect to make phenomenal profits off the good ship SS Sanders. And every single dollar of those profits is going to get invested immediately into high-paying, shovel-ready infrastructure jobs.
Wow. I can just picture that on the good ship SS Sanders, just sitting there enjoying a drink on the sandbar for the entire cruise. I think it wouldn't go any further than that. Hey, Bill, some cruise line executives actually like the fact that the exclusive enclaves for the one percenters are set apart from the rabble because, and I quote, a little envy is good for business. Now, doesn't this just affirm, as Stephen suggests, what Bernie Sanders has been saying about greedy, heartless capitalists?
Well, my feeling is if you work hard and save your money, you should be able to go on whatever damn vacation you want to. And I don't think anybody should tell you otherwise. There's a lot of irony in here, Scott. First of all, I find it ironic. It was the New York Times, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, they're complaining about privilege, are they? They're complaining about people going to the front of the line, and they're complaining about, these people have never been in a car. They've never bought, they just travel from limousine from one skyscraper to another. So that's pretty hilarious. The second thing I will say is something that you both, that Steve touched on certainly, and that's the idea that it says an awful lot about a culture where we're talking about the fact, and I genuinely believe this is true, that if you work hard in this country, it doesn't matter how much money you make. If you work hard and you're married and you had kids after you got married, you can save enough money to go on a cruise. And you go on the same boat as these rich people. You see the same things that they do. You may not get quite the same amenities. just Vegas alone, just stand in the lobby of a casino at Vegas and watch all the common working people who are there, and they're living the way that emperors could never have lived, not even 100 years ago, 50, 60 years ago, could never have lived like this. That's a great testament to the American system of free enterprise and the amount of wealth that we generate. Now, as far as the difference on the ship goes, I think that, like anything else, you have a right to charge extra for first class. I'd be against some things. For instance, I don't like the idea that the first class people would be able to use the steerage people as flotation devices if the ship goes down. But other than
that's a safety regulation. That's just good. That's just smart.
Other than that, as long as if the boat was on its way down, that's when, seriously, now I'm not kidding about this. If the boat is going down, that's when every person is a person unique to themselves, and it should be women and children first.
That's right.
Although God knows, I bet those days are mostly gone. And as long as we're not talking about that kind of thing, then yeah, I'm completely in favor of it.
Well, the benefits of extra value and special service for a premium price come not merely to the wealthy, but to the rest of us as well. By radically overpaying, the rich in their secluded haven help to keep average ticket prices lower for everybody. They also boost profits for the cruise line, whose shareholders reap the reward, and their investments and purchases further bolster the economy. It's good for jobs, too, since boat builders and contractors make more for luxury work, and service staff garner greater tips and perhaps higher wages, waiting on the wealthy. Envy is unhealthy, but it comes only when its object is impossible. Why envy something to which you can legitimately aspire and achieve?
Right.
In America, aspiration has fueled all of the great innovations and advances. Without it, we'd still be British and German and Irish and Pakistani. And, the American dream is not egalitarianism. It is liberty to pursue happiness based on merit. My wife and I took a cruise once, and we saw the area of the ship to which our humble tickets did not entitle us passage. But rather than burn with envy, we both thought, someday, let's come back and do it that way. For Bill Whittle and Stephen Green, I'm Scott Ott at Right Angle.